My name's Will Hansel. I'm an engineer at General Motors.
Hi, my name's Steve Ross. I'm lead the team at OnStar developing the mobile app for the Volt.
All right, so we're in here in one of the prototypes, and one of the things that hit me really quickly here was the crispness of the display. We can get back to that main screen there. At first, I thought it was a mock-up, to be honest with you, and then I saw that the time was changing and everything else. So a very sharp and crisp screen, quite impressive. Obviously, a lot of the finishes in here that you see are pre-production, so they're not going to match up with what you'll see in the showroom. However, you get the general idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just fire this baby up. We got the foot on the old brake here. We hit the power button. That's going to go ahead and power up the vehicle. I powered it off. It was on. Okay, there we go. So one of the things that you see right here is this shift handle. Kind of unique. Really integrates into the center stack and allows you to save some space for whatever you might want to stow in here. It's a unique application that I hadn't seen before in any other kind of cards, and I think it's a good idea. So anyway, let's say you wanted to put it into drive. We'll just do that. He's got the door open, but anyway, we just go in here. We got this puppy back into drive here, and we could just go ahead and take off if we wanted to. Now, one of the things that we had kind of unique that I thought was in this car was the engine matching on the revs. And you want to just discuss that a little bit?
Well, when it's in what we call charge sustaining, there's two modes really for the vehicle: charge depleting and charge sustaining. Charge depleting is the battery's got enough charge in it to propel the vehicle and do all the functions inside it. Charge sustaining is when it gets a lower range of state of charge, and the vehicle decides, yep, I'm going to bring the engine on to maintain the battery at that lower state of charge. And it doesn't just come on and go to a high RPM. It takes into account the speed with which the vehicle is running at. It also takes into account the loads that are on the vehicle, and also a couple other factors. And so it definitely feels familiar but different, I guess would be the way that I would describe it.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things we were discussing is the fact with when CVTs first came out and the revs wouldn't necessarily match where you were with the car. There's a lot of customer feedback. I know a lot of manufacturers heard back from people saying, look, it just feels weird for the engine to be doing this. Why doesn't it match more of the input that I'm giving it on the throttle? So I think it's pretty nifty that this car has integrated that.
Exactly, and there's a lot of activity going on controller-wise to do that. I mean, it comes across very seamless, but there's been a lot of energy behind getting it to do that. So it does feel, again, familiar, but the vehicle is doing all the things that you would expect an EV car to do with a range extender on it.
And one of the other things we're talking about here, as a cold day here in San Francisco, is the thermal management of the battery pack.
Sure. Yeah, the Volt has an active thermal management system. It can heat or cool the battery as needed, and that's a big issue as far as having a consistent vehicle that provides the propulsion you need to travel under electric power.
Okay. So what I'm going to do right now real quick, so I'm just going to step out of the vehicle. We're just going to kind of give you a brief walk around.
This car was developed heavily in the wind tunnel between a partnership between the design community and the wind tunnel, so it's probably going to be world-class as far as what we've ever done aerodynamically, and it's got a lot of features because of that. This grill is mostly blocked off. There's a small opening for air inlet. Most of the air is drawn below the vehicle. A lot of the, notice it's got a lot of sweepback on it. The windshield's raked heavily. The way that the vehicle shrinks back, and it's got a trip right here on the edge of it, is a new feature in a production car that we've ever done. And the way the tail is set up with the wing and everything is to manage the air across the vehicle as best as possible.
I don't know, one of the things, speaking with, I think it was Bob way back in the design room a long time ago, was the amount of loss that you had with economy, even at low speeds.
Yes. No, I mean, these tires were developed with Goodyear. They're a low rolling resistance tire. It's a brand new design that they've come up with. We're going to use it across the GM on various vehicles just because they've been very effective. And that's the challenge, is to come up with low rolling resistance but still have enough friction that it's a safe vehicle to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And so exactly, the bottom of the car is very smooth. Aerodynamic and rolling friction is a big deal even at low speed. You'd be surprised how important that is.
Right. Now, in terms of the glass used on the vehicle, any special tricks with energy management, solar control, solar gain?
Not that I know of.
Okay. One of the things I know is that Bose developed some special speakers or something like that for this vehicle.
They've got stereos in general. In the past, obviously, you had a gas engine spinning an alternator, so electricity was the most plentiful thing you had on the vehicle. Now, with this vehicle, electricity is the most precious. And so every little thing has been reviewed. So like the stereo, the speakers, those were very high consuming components. And so we had to do a fair amount of work with our partners to come up with more efficient stereo heads and speakers.
Gotcha. Any chance we can pop the hatch there at all?
Sure.
Look in the, that gives folks an idea.
It's got a false floor in it, and then under that is the 110 power plug and an inflator kit, because it doesn't have a spare on it for weight savings. And it's got a pass through in it, obviously, and then both seats fold flat.
Right, because of course you got your battery running down the tunnel
That's
here,
right.
and not in some vehicles
That's
where
right.
it's
There's controllers under here. The vehicle's got a lot of controls. The center light is your backup light. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a unique location for it there. And that's using LEDs